Worth more, or on the other fact right there, other points happen. Change this up here, make sure we're there. Other points happen where we actually, and can you guys hear us? I think you can right there. Where you actually have the ability to force the appreciation forward for the building. So what does that mean? Well, when you go in there and you make improvements, whether it is painting the buildings, changing the windows, improving, renovating units, right? You can increase the potential income on the property. You can potentially drive up the income. And multifamily real estate compared to other kind of properties, well, it's treated as a business. So as you improve the income, the building ultimately is valued by a cap rate, and that cap rate drives the value of the property. So your bottom line, how you can increase your bottom line, how you can improve your bottom line, ultimately has a massive effect on the value of the building. And contrary to a house, where if you rented the house out as a single family house, or you just lived in the house, it's really going to be driven a lot by market expectations and what's the dynamics of what the potential would be for that house itself, just as a one-off. The next piece is we have depreciation. Depreciation is a very interesting part. We all, the U.S. is one of these few, really the only country where every time you buy a property, whether it's brand new or it's 100 years old, you can start the depreciation clock over and basically depreciate out over a number of years, 27 and a half years for that residential property. Well, in regards to what you're able to do is you're able to capture depreciation through a thing called cost segregation. And what that is the financial engineering study that it basically allocates parts of the house, parts of the building into buckets that are more streamlined, in which in fact they could be handled. So your carpet, it doesn't last 27 and a half years. So to depreciate it out over 27 and a half years, that's the easy streamline approach. And that's what happens in a lot of ways, but it's not going to last that long. So what we do, in fact, there is we're able to put these all into buckets and drive forward the losses, because depreciation offsets loss and basically provides forward losses. So instead of having your $2, $3, $4 million of losses offset across 27 and a half years, we then in fact can have a number of ways that these can be pushed forward into 5 and 15-year buckets, and then you have a way to capture that all in year one. So we're able to offset a lot of our gains with paper losses through depreciation. Now we carry this point. Next part, we talked about cash flow. The cash flow can accomplish debt pay down. So as the building is having cash flow, the building is of course appreciating. We're getting the benefits of depreciation to offset our gains. We're now having our debt paid down. So now we're having a bigger gap in terms of the value here, because our debt is slowly being paid off by the efforts our tenants but for them basically paying their rent. Next, tax advantages. There's a lot in the IRS code here that are tax advantages. One being exchange, a 1031 exchange here, where you can roll funds from one property to the next, basically playing monopoly, pushing off the tax cycle, right? So there's a lot of benefits that can come from multifamily real estate. And then the next is diversity, right? Diversity of being in stock market, being on partnership, being in real assets. If you think about cash today, I mean, we've had about 20% of all the money ever created here in the US was done in like the last 2 years, right? So that money, of course, is going to drive down the value of what your dollar is. If you could put it into real estate, we're going to have more of an effect here. And you can see the broadening here. Inflation is actually helping the value of that property. And past that, of course, we get to, okay, what are some of the downsides? Well, it could be a harder entry point, right? So bigger projects, bigger barriers to entry, both mental and just the amount of dollars you need to have. Also could be liquidity, right? Liquidity could be a number one because unlike crypto or stocks, I mean, it's kind of like NFTs, right? You have to have a buyer on the other end, and it's not an automatic transaction. You'll find that NFTs are actually a lot quicker of a transaction if there is a buyer there, where if someone wants to buy a multifamily property, they have to, of course, be qualified, have the cash, be able to secure the loan, right? And also you and your cash is not easy to pull out your cash at this point. We're going to see a lot of things continue to happen here where there's going to be tokenization of a lot of assets here, and that's going to provide another liquidity market that will be available to get liquidity out. So there's lots of reasons here that we see the advantages about multifamily real estate.
Because everyone got to hear me talk yesterday, so I want you to talk more today. What are some of the advantages for us as we are using this asset class for phase 3? So phase 3 is where, if you remember from our talks previously, and if you've seen our website, it is where we're making that connection between NFTs and real estate. So phase 3 is where we will be investing in one of our large multifamily properties. Why is that so lucrative for an NFT project?
You know, it gets down to two parts. One is value, right? One is value, and two is true ownership, right? And ownership. And if you see your ownership within a project here, and you can transfer that ownership here, making sure that everybody does, of course, meet the qualifications, meet the parts that they need to be for being compliant here, well, that ownership can now have value. And you could sell that with a premium. You could sell that with a point here, right? But you have that potential to have other options besides waiting on, if we'll call it waiting on, or potentially looking for the building to find its value based on time or based on efforts of others, right? So it's going to be this nice approach where you're going to show activity, you're going to show ownership, you're going to show a lot. I'm sure you can hear there's a lot of kids playing out there, because part of owning multifamily real estate is that we can, of course, control our day and control our time, right? And that was the big approach. And so I've sidelined us to say that that's what multifamily real estate has allowed. And the kids are happy. So I'm not just saying happy kids. I'm saying time with Peely and I to be able to sit here and talk to all of you wonderful people. And at the same time, see the effects of having other people help with the process of improving the property. So I'll throw it back on you. What would an NFT, how would an NFT project help multifamily real estate?
Well, the great thing is, and this is a big point that I want to get across. This is not something that we are trying to do. This is something that Jason and I do every single day, day in and day out. In fact, we were slightly late to this talk because Jason is looking at, how many deals are we looking at right now? Like full on contract is out, or LOI is out, or we are like right there with these deals. I think we're looking at about like three or four.
We have 3 right on our plate, and we're actively out there searching, right? Yeah. This is what we do day in and day out, right? So this is not something that we're trying the space. This is our core business, Rusi Holdings. We're a multifamily investment firm. We have, acquired over 1,400 plus units, 160 million in real estate, continuing to grow. We'll be plus that 200 million range by the end of the year. And so from that point, right, this is what we do. Yeah. And trying to offer the ability for others to learn, because remember, we're 2 bartenders here. It's not like we're like, oh, look at us, right? A decade ago, we're 2 bartenders, right? working out there, and our mind wasn't there. We had no idea of this space. We never had thought to even come in there. This wasn't a driven plan. Oh, I'm going to go to college for commercial real estate and learn the narrative, do a bunch of financial modeling, and find myself to here today. It was that we made a choice. We decided that we wanted to take a different step, a different course, right? Because we all have the awesome thing to do today where we could just say, I'm not happy with where I am, but then make a change, right? Make that one change. And we did, at a bunch of start and stop, right? It wasn't like we decided like, oh, we're not going to be bartenders anymore. And all of a sudden we buying buildings. Yeah. But once we got enough positive energy going, it happened pretty quickly.
And for us, there was a process. Like not for nothing, we have been.
Well, I want to hear what this process is, because I was going to say there's a process. First, I'm hearing it, but you go for it here, and I'm going to be ready for writing this process.
Process of learning. So we went, and you heard us talk about this before. We went from learning how to do real estate. I got my license. We started flipping. We started wholesaling. We got into small multifamily. Got into large multifamily. But we want to be able to excel that process for our community members. So if you want to get into flipping and wholesaling, we know how to do it. And we have friends that know how to do it. If you want to get into small multifamily, we've done it before. We know how to do it. And we have friends that know how to do it and are doing it on a regular basis. You want to get into large multifamily with us? Well, join Legacy Leaders. You are here with us. Join Legacy Leaders, and we can teach you what we do. And with phase 3, you'll be able to get a taste of what it feels like, what it is like to invest in a large multifamily deal. So that is what I wanted to talk to you about today, give you another wide scope of what large multifamily is. And over the course of every day, Monday through Friday, Jason and I will come up on here for 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe even longer if you have more questions, or if you jump into YouTube and you have questions here, or you jump into Twitter, we'll answer all your questions. We're here to help. And we want to make that connection for those who are in NFTs, who want to learn how to invest in real estate. And for anyone in real estate, because I know you're listening too. I know you are. I see you. For those of you who are in real estate and you want to test out this incredibly new world called NFTs. So you can do it with us. You know us, you like us, you trust us, and you know we would not steer you wrong.
So I guess the process in all bubble back to it was that we made a choice and took action, right? We didn't know where the process was going to lead us, but we didn't wait to try and figure out a process that ultimately when we started, it just wasn't going to work. And for that, we surround ourselves with other like-minded people. And that's what we're building here with Legacy Leaders, right? We're building a community of like-minded people who want to lead, who want to be better, who want to better themselves, whether it be personal, financial, fitness, faith, all together. And we've been able to do that by making small choices that have just really created giant leaps. Yeah. Right. And that's been the roadmap. It hasn't been one big, massive leap to the finish line. There is no finish line. We've been enjoying the journey, figuring out as we go. Not every day is going to be up. Not every day is going to be down. And when it is down, we say, well, okay, there's a lesson there. How do we not do that again? Right. And surrounding ourselves with other people who are power players, who are trying to take action, or trying to better themselves in their life. That's helped us accelerate the process. And that's why we're so excited with the community we're building here. A ton of great people, a ton of great action takers, a ton of great community. It's going to continue to grow. And we thank you, of course, so much for diving in. So, of course, go there, hit that follow button, come join us in the Discord. Come check out this great video. We got in there. You hit the Linktree button. You'll see this great video appeal. You just out there laying out everything we have happening in that plan there. Go give it a watch here, because we had Crystal put together this fantastic video that's just awesome, right? And so just really dynamic of what's going on there. So it's a must see, a must watch here. It'll tell you everything you want to know about the project and leave more to be discovered about what's coming, because we do have some fun things coming. And when you join the community, it gives you a token access to NFT Real Estate Nashville coming up later this year.
Super excited
about that. A lot happened on that one. So, and we're not waiting to put this off next year. Like, it's in the works. Yeah. So who's coming with us, right?
And again, I want to clue you into this is things that Jason and I are already doing. Like, we've put on large conferences. We invest in real estate, and we invest in the real estate that we are going to invest in with legacy leaders. So all of this we have done, and we just want to show you how we're doing it. So thank you so very much for joining us. And for anybody that's on Discord right now, stick around, ask some questions. And for any of you who are listening on March 24th, later on tonight, in a few hours, I think in about 6.5 hours, I will be joining my BFFs on their Discord to talk about legacy leaders. I'm really, really excited. I love this. I love the fact that it is all about leaders lifting leaders, and my BFFs is definitely a platform, an incredible platform that is lifting up other woman-led platforms. So thank you so much, my BFFs, and thank you so much for listening. Aloha. Do some music. Do some music. Nope. Okay. No music today.
You got to end this point, right? Well, maybe it doesn't let us play music in the point, so we'll work on this here. But besides this,
oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go now.
We're gonna go. See you tomorrow.